Scholastic News today is called Blast Off May. And as you look at the top, you can see a little bubble or a circle, and it says March is Women's History Month. So in March, we're kind of learning about women in history and the impact that they have made. Because they've made a great impact from many, many years ago. Just for example, have we ever had a girl president?
No.
No, we haven't had one yet. But we could possibly have one. Stay on the sheets. Where are the sheets? Can you find us? Okay, now we're going to learn about May. Okay, so let's listen to this read aloud up here at the cover.
March is Women's History Month. Blast off, May. When Mae Jemison was a girl, she dreamed of going to space. Back then, there weren't any astronauts who looked like her. But Mae didn't give up. She became the first Black woman in space.
So not only does she become the first woman in space, well, I should say woman. She becomes the first Black woman in space, but there haven't been very many women in space. It's been mainly men. So we're going to learn a little bit about her and how she is the first Black woman in space. All right, so let's watch the video that goes with this. Oops. Time out, I'm going to make it a little bit louder. Would you guys like to be an astronaut?
No!
Yes?
No, because you could lose oxygen.
Well,
If your soup leaks open, you can lose oxygen.
And then you don't get
it can be like the
I did some
Would you like to be an astronaut?
okay, now watch this.
Would you like to blast off to space in a rocket? It's a cool job, but it's not easy. You have to work hard to learn a lot of science. You have to be able to squeeze into a small spaceship and not lose your cool. And you have to train your body to deal with the weird and wonderful world of space. Space is different from Earth. On Earth, we have gravity. Gravity pulls us toward the ground. It keeps us from floating away. In space, there's a lot less gravity, so everything floats. In their training, astronauts have to get used to this weird floating feeling. To do that, they ride in a plane called the Vomit Comet. It swoops and dives and makes them feel like they're floating. Some of them throw up. That's how the Vomit Comet got its name. Astronauts also train in swimming pools. Walking in space feels a lot like walking underwater. When astronauts have finished their training, it's time to head to space. They put on their flight suits. They use these flight suits for takeoff and landing. The flight suits keep astronauts cool. It will get hot inside the rocket during takeoff. Astronauts also put on helmets that have a microphone. This lets them talk to mission control. That's where folks back on Earth make sure everything is okay. After astronauts put on their gear, they check to make sure everything is in order. And then it's 3, 2, 1. Blast off! The astronauts are headed to space. Most astronauts go to the International Space Station. It's a spacecraft that orbits the Earth. That means it travels around our planet. Astronauts from around the world work at the International Space Station. They are scientists trying to learn more about how things work in space. They see if they can grow vegetables in space. Astronauts also study how their bodies work in space. Sometimes they have to go out and repair the space station. For this, they put on special white spacesuits and do a spacewalk. But astronauts in space don't spend all day working. They have to eat, which is not always easy. The food can float away. Going to the bathroom is tricky since everything floats. Astronauts use a special toilet with a hose that sucks up the stinky stuff. When it's time for astronauts to sleep, they zip themselves into sleeping bags. Then, they strap their sleeping bags to the wall so they don't float away. So, what do you think? Would you like to be an astronaut?
Sure. Yeah.
Would you like to go to the International Space Station?
Then you can float out
Or to the
into
moon?
outer space, and then
Or
you can
even
be a
Mars?
meteor coming into Earth.
No one has gone there yet.
Then you can be a meteor.
Then put on your helmet. Outer space awaits.
There should be one problem. It could end up like
Right down and
Alright, would you like to go to space now?
No!
If you were an astronaut, what would be your favorite part of the job?
I guarantee
Talk about it.
Alright, so let me ask
See you soon.
If you were an astronaut watching the video, what would be your favorite part of the job? Raise your hand if you can tell me what yours would be. Addie?
Sleeping. Because you're basically floating.
Yeah, you're basically floating when you're sleepy, and then you have to be strapped into your sleeping
I
bag
wonder
to
if
the
you
wall.
could sleep on a wall.
Yeah. Why? What would be your favorite thing? Floating around. I think that'd be fun too. Lewis?
Floating around and doing dumb backflips.
I'm trying to do that backflip so I
that
can
would be
float
so
around.
easy.
That would be fun and cool.
That'd be like,
Brooklyn, what do you think?
like how I just would want to just like stay in there and just like play around in like this and say,
Just like float around? Float around?
Yeah, you could fly.
Ingrid, what would be your favorite part? Like Addie's too, sleeping. Raylan, what would you be your favorite
Eat,
part?
sleep, and fix stuff.
Eat, sleep, and then fix stuff. Wasn't it cool when the food was floating?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be so fun. I just set my food down.
Yeah, and your food would float, and then you'd have to maybe try to catch it with your mouth.
Well, that would be fun, like,
That'd be
because
fun.
you could do a challenge and you try to eat
Right.
it without your hands.
Okay, Kayla, what would be your favorite part?
My favorite part, if you were an astronaut and you bought a book, just reading the books upside down. That's what I was thinking. Oh, you're
my
just
God.
like.
Carla, what would be your favorite part? Do you know?
You could do flips while waiting.
You think about it, okay? Ellie, yes, what would be your favorite part?
Going on the moon.
Going to the moon, that'd be cool. Is there anyone I missed? Ellie A, what would be your favorite part?
I would want to, I would like to, fly.
You would like to fly. Okay, alright, did I get you guys already? Why did I get you?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got me
Okay.
too.
Alright, if I've already got you, I don't want to get you second time because we gotta go on. Okay, so if you're just coming back from the Psalms, we are gonna start a Scholastic News. We're just getting to the inside of it. See, perfect timing. Let's go to the inside.
May visits the stars.
Where May visits the stars.
Stop.
So, alright, we need to think about how being curious has helped me. So I'm gonna start with Raylan. Would you pull down your mask and use your big teacher voice to be nice and loud, please?
When Mae Jemison was a little girl, she was curious. She always wanted to try new things, and she wanted to learn more. She looked up at the stars, and she wondered what it would be like to live up there.
Okay, so since she was a little girl, she was very curious. All right, Ellie, would you continue LES?
May was curious at the library too. She loved to read and she tried all different kinds. Her favorite books were science fiction, made-up stories, often about space.
Sometimes. You were right. You're closer. You were like the same distance from her, and I heard every word. You did.
Okay, LES, did you read that? Okay, awesome. So, she was curious at the library too, and I know Kaden loves to read books, and a lot of you love to read books, so that's great, because when you read books, that makes your mind curious, and you want to learn more. And she loved science books, and lots of times she liked the books that were made up about space. All right, Tyson, read that top paragraph. Start with sometimes. Really loud, Tyson.
Sometimes
May is her name. May.
May's
wondered. Aliens. Do you guys ever do that? Do you ever look in the sky and wonder if there's aliens up there?
Oh,
There's another row. Right under what the one Raylan just read. Elias read that.
You missed that row.
Elias, she read it, but I couldn't really hear her.
Oh, Elliot.
Yeah, if you were all quiet, you should have been able to hear her.
I heard you just fine.
Okay, some of you probably weren't paying attention.
We're only gonna set mine.
All right. Kaden, why are you reading, buddy?
Oh.
I know you want to read, but now's not the time. All right, let's start with May's dream. Kaden, would you start reading about May's dream? Really loud, Kaden.
May wanted to be a scientist. When she grew up, it was her dream, but back then most scientists were white men. Not many scientists look like May.
Okay, stop there. So back then, way back when, it was just white men that were astronauts. There wasn't very many women, hardly any, and there wasn't any blacks. Okay, kind of reminds us of Martin Luther King Jr., right? Okay, let's continue here. That didn't stop May. Let's have Addie really loud. Addie, pull down your mask really loud.
That didn't stop May. She believed in herself. Her parents did too. They encouraged her. They told her she could do the things she wanted to do, but so May followed her dream.
Okay, so her parents encouraged her, and then she followed her dream. So let's go up. We're on this page now. Ellie A, would you read with a big teacher voice up here where she worked hard?
She worked hard. She read books about girls who scientists and heroes. She stayed curious to be too. She kept trying new things like
Acting.
acting and dancing.
Good job. So she kept trying new things like acting and dancing. So she kept being curious. Now let's learn about her up in space. Let's see. I'm just seeing Wyatt. You haven't read yet. Would you start with May?
No.
Grew up really loud, Wyatt.
May grew up and became a doctor. She went around the world to help sick people. May loved it, but she still dreamed about space. She decided to try and become an astronaut.
Good. So Wyatt, what was her first job? A doctor. So she was really smart because she became a doctor first. Okay? All right. Arya, why didn't you start with it wasn't easy? Really loud, Arya.
It wasn't easy.
Thousands.
Thousands of people wanted to be astronauts, but all 15 people were
Picked.
May was one of them.
Good job. Stop there. So it's not easy. Thousands of people want to be astronauts, but only 15 was picked.
May was one of them. She's a lucky goose.
Did I ever bring that on today? No, no, wait, let's see. We're missing one, so 18. Oh, we're so sorry.
18 and
How did I forget that?
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. All right. Thanks, Miss Suberta. So only 15 of them were picked out of 1,000. That's not very many. Okay, Brooklyn, would you start right here at last?
At last in 1992, May
Blasted.
she was the first black woman to go to space. May did a lot of science work in space. She did
Experiment.
frogs, eggs. She studied what happened to astronauts' bones
Bones.
in space.
Good job, Brooklyn. So she studied a lot of different things. So about 30 years ago, she went into space and she did lots of experiments. So that's her job, is to do lots of experiments. on frog eggs, and then what happens to astronaut bones in space? All right, Kaden?
So, if you throw a bone into space, what would happen to it?
If you throw a what?
A bone.
It would just float.
I don't even know if
I
you could
thought it
throw
would
it that.
evaporate.
There's no gravity, so everything floats.
I thought it would evaporate.
No, probably not. Okay, Tom, would you continue? And she.
And she able what thing?
Wait. We're not there. And she.
That's right.
Were you right here? Okay. And she danced. Is that what you said? Okay.
And she danced.
Dancing
Dancing. It
is easy.
then you
Float may.
could spin and spin.
So what John said is, and she danced. Dancing is easy when you can float. May could spin and spin and spin. So, because there's no gravity, so she could just spin and spin and
And you
spin.
can do more push-ups.
Yeah. Hey, Riley, would you read May loved? Really love writing. Exactly.
Exactly where I wanted to be.
She said.
She said.
Good job. So exactly where she wants to be. All right. The next and last section is life after space. Lewis, after you flip up, would you start reading on this one? Start with May.
Yeah, I wanted to read that.
You haven't read yet, right, Lewis?
No.
Okay.
And I wanted to
Really loud, Lewis, okay?
May hasn't
Okay,
been
so
back
let's
to
draw a quarter.
space since then, but she hasn't stopped
So that's
trying new
25.
things. She started a summer camp for kids who wanted to learn about science. She started to
So 25
Started a company.
company to help sick people, and she wrote a book about a girl who grew up to be a scientist herself.
Awesome. So she started a summer camp. She started a company. She wrote a
Is there
book.
anything that's worth 5?
Wow, she's done a lot of amazing things. Libby, would you finish the last paragraph?
Like what's this?
May has never
How much is that worth? Oh, that's what you need.
Furious.
If we're doing
So
this.
what are you curious about? Start asking questions. You never know where they might take you.
Good. So always be curious. Always ask questions and always want to learn more. So up here on this picture, this caption says May floated in space. So here's her floating. Over in this one, this is where it says May wore a spacesuit. So that's what she looks like in a spacesuit. And then down here, it says the shuttle, and there's a little arrow. So I'm going to tap it. I'm not sure what it does. Oh, here we go.
Blast off!
3, 2, 1.
That thing's exploding.
Is that
It's gonna blow up.
It looks like it. Why does this gray smoke come?
Fire.
Fire or fire catching the ground?
Fire's in the ground.
Is that when fire touches the ground, makes you lose more fire?
That thing looks pretty.
At least it's not
All
like
right.
the Challenger.
Yeah, there have been a few space shuttles that have blown up, like the Challenger, and that one was a really sad one because there was a bunch of scientists, and even one of them was a woman teacher, and
What?
she was in there, and it blew up. So hopefully we don't have too many more of those, but it definitely could happen. Addie,
I watched a video with my dad and his friend, and so there was like a rocket ship blasting up, and it kept on failing until it went off, and then it tipped and it went down, and no one was in it.
oh, that's good. So
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
and
It blew up.
when you guys, we know when we have science and we experiment and build things and make things, sometimes things don't happen or go the way as planned, and then you have to change things. So same with this space shuttle, they've had to change many, many, many things on it. Okay, let's go to the back of it really quickly. And I love about this because they used her name in the middle. Amazing jobs. Amazing jobs. So May has had some amazing jobs. This chart shows some of them. So I'm going to start with the first one, doctor. And it says she helped sick people in other countries. She rode in helicopters to get them. Another job was an actor. She was on a science fiction TV show about space. It was called Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, I've heard that.
Have you guys ever heard of Star Trek?
Yeah.
She was on that TV show, so she was an actor. And then she was an author. We heard this. She wrote books for kids about space. She wrote a book about her life too.
She was a teacher?
Wow. And she was a teacher. She taught college students how to help Earth. So that is amazing. So she has been at least 4, she's also an astronaut, 5 different occupations.
That's weird.
Isn't that amazing? That's so cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. All right, now down below, the first question says, which one did May not write books about? Space, her life, or helicopters? Tyson, what do you think? Which one?
Helicopter.
Yeah, she did not write about helicopters. All right, number 2. What did May teach college students to do? To write stories, help the earth, become actors. What do you think, Ingrid? What did she help them learn or do? Help the earth. Exactly.
That's exactly what we should do. We never should ruin Earth.
All right, the next one says, for which job did May ride in a helicopter? Actor, doctor, author. Kaden?
Doctor.
Doctor. Yep.
How do you write?
And the last one, what kind of TV show was Star Trek: The Next Generation? Comedy, mystery, science fiction. What do you think, Lewis?